We don't often think about the cycle of life, nor do we talk about it. But today on the show, we are going to do just that with the wonderful Tanya Unkovich. Thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Good morning. You're welcome.
So when we're talking the cycle of life, we're talking, you can sort of imagine, we don't often think about the cycle of life, nor do we talk about it. But today on the show, we are going to do just that with the wonderful Tanya Unkovich. Thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Good morning. You're welcome.
So when we're talking the cycle of life, we're talking, you can sort of imagine a caterpillar and a butterfly and a chrysalis and all sort of coming to an end. But with a human, it's a long process often, isn't it?
Isn't it just? And when we're young, we think we're never going to get old, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think that when I was young, but looking back, you felt a little bit invincible and you acted that way too.
Yeah, I remember. I remember saying, I was 8 and I remember someone asking me, how old is your mummy? And I said, my mummy's really old. She's going to die soon. She's 40. But gosh, here are we now. God, 50s. Wow.
Yeah. So, it happens to everyone. And I think, for you, you're in the process of spending lots of time with your mum and dad, and they are on the older side of things. You've been reflecting on this cycle of life thing.
Oh, yes. It's been quite a journey and a noticeable one. And often, now they're in their late 80s, 88 and 89, and their health has really declined in the last 12 months. And, we don't notice it actually. And in hindsight, you think, gosh, this was happening 3 years ago. Oh, is this why this was going on? And you don't really notice or know what's going on. But, just be aware things change as our parents get older. And it really does make you take a look at life and look at your own mortality and how fast everything happens. And, oh, my goodness, I'm going to get really old one day too.
So how has it changed maybe even the way that you've been looking at life and doing things?
It's brought my own mortality even closer. It's made me, and I suppose with what's going on in the world right now, anything can change at any time. And it's made me hold on to that beautiful saying of live just for today, because we don't know what's around the corner. And, seeing how my parents have aged, knowing they've gone from being so strong and healthy to frail now, it's like, oh my goodness, this is awaiting all of us. Do whatever you can to live your best life now. Do whatever you can to take care of your body, physically, emotionally, in every possible way. And, be prepared as well.
Yeah. It certainly does give you a different perspective. And as we age and as we watch our families age, it does bring that today thing, living in the moment, a lot closer. It can be hard to do, though. And for a lot of us, we're so future focused, and especially at this point in time where people are perhaps thinking, is my job going to be there in 12 months' time? What's life going to look like health-wise? But it does bring into the focus of today. How do we live in the moment? How do we do this, Tanya, when perhaps we do just want to worry and toil over the future?
Well, look, as it does say in the Bible even, right? Don't be anxious about tomorrow because today will bring it enough of its own things to deal with. It's actually about making the decision every day when you get up. I am going to focus on today. What is my outcome for today? What do I need to achieve today? How do I need to show up today? Who do I need to be? What am I grateful for today? Gratitude is one of the biggest things to help us change our attitude. And, as we look at this aging process as well and seeing our parents age, it's saying, oh, I'm so grateful that I've still got my parents, because there are many people who have lost their parents when they were younger. I'm so grateful that I've got the opportunity to show compassion towards my elderly parents. I'm so grateful that I've got the opportunity to be around other elderly people in the rest homes and see what really matters in the world. At the end of the day is, how can I add a bit of joy to this other person's life, as they're going through this stage of their life. So lots of lessons here.
And I suspect if we're going to, keep talking in 12 months' time, Tanya, I'd love to catch up on this again, because probably, you'll have learned more.
Oh, absolutely. Like the last 6 months, I've learned so much as I've seen how quickly we can change and how quickly our bodies change. But such a massive appreciation now for gosh, for the elderly particularly, and how much care they need and compassion and love, what we can do for them just by putting your arm around them and showing them love and letting them know that they still matter.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because there's so many parenting books out there telling us how to look after our children. But actually, equally, maybe there needs to be something out there that says, you know, it should be intuitive, knowing how to love our parents and our loved one as they grow older. But, you know, here's some ways we can show love and compassion because bodies change, emotions change, all of that changes over time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's actually really rewarding. It's really, really rewarding to go there and sit with your elderly parents, to bring them a bit of joy, to, you know, smile at some of the other people in the rest home who may not have as many visitors and things like that. You know, how can I bring a bit of joy to this person's life? So it, you know, it comes back to contribution, doesn't it? How can I best serve mankind? How can I best be of purpose? And for anyone who wants a bit of purpose, there's so many rest homes out there who probably need visitors and help in all sorts of ways you can volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, this is really good stuff because I think it's a topic we don't often talk about, but we should be. You know, it is an opportunity to show so much love.
Yeah, absolutely, to the people who have gone before us and paved the way for us. And, you know, they did the best they could with the resources that they have, and now it's our time to help them on their next journey, on this part of their life.
Yeah, it's really good. So let's talk about, you know, when we do visit our elderly parents, you know, perhaps in a rest home, perhaps in their own home. Are there times where perhaps you've been like, I love my parents, I want to help them, but I don't know how to help them in this stage of their life? Is that the time that we turn it over to the professionals and say, actually, you know what to do in this situation?
Yeah, because we did try for a long time to do what we could for our mum and dad, and it got to a point where actually we couldn't. You know, they need 24/7 care now, and you have to actually sometimes let go and say, I'm going to let the professionals do this. Meanwhile, I'm going to come in and do this in between.
Right.
And it does help you because it's pretty hard work. It really is hard work. And but now I'm going to go and see my mum now after this, and I know what she loves, and I'll be able to be there in a different capacity. But to be able to do it 24/7, it's tough.
Yeah.
So yes,
It's knowing that time where you go, actually, this is the time where perhaps someone else needs to help out in this situation.
Yeah.
Tanya, this is really good. And you know, for someone who is perhaps dealing with knowing how to relate and look after their elderly parent. Maybe they do want to talk to you, or maybe they just want to talk about their own cycle of life, where they're at, how they start living for the moment, because it can be hard when you've always been so future focused. How do people get in touch with you?
Well, you can just go to my website, tanyaunkovich.com, or I'm all over social media.
Thanks, Tanya.
You're welcome.